Hey everybody, welcome to the After Dark podcast. I'm your host, Vito Glazers. In the studio with me today is Jarrod Barakett. Jarrod, how's it feel to be in Hollywood?
It's great. It's been a long time since I've been here. It's good to be back though. Feels good.
Great to have you here. You're looking good. You're looking young. You're looking shredded.
Yeah.
Tell me the company that you're working with that's the secret to these good looks you're bringing us here today.
Well, good looks is a stretch, but I'll tell you it makes me feel good, and that's the light system.
The Light System. And that's thelightsystem.com, right?
That's thelightsystems.com.
Thelightsystems.com. Yeah. And thelightsystems.com is what you're here to talk about today. But before we jump into that, I'd love to hear a little bit about your story, where you came from, what your journey was to discover thelightsystems.com. How'd you get into all this stuff about health and wellness and all these alternative medicines that seem to be kind of changing the world today?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a long road, but it was a road or a necessary one. I started off, I'm a soil chemist by trade.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I have a degree in agricultural sciences. I was in the golf business for 30 years, managing, operating golf courses, golf course construction and maintenance. And then that led me to opening up a lucrative consulting business where I worked on really great golf courses from coast to coast in Canada. Cool. That consulting business took me to Southern California, where I started managing large scale cannabis production.
Wow.
Got out of cannabis production and focused more on retail, because right around that shift between, the gray market in California and full legalization, revenue dipped considerably. So, with that dip in revenue, we made a decision to get out of cultivation, focus strictly on retail. So at the time I was working with and became managing director of, I'd say, second largest cannabis dispensary chain in Southern California and Nevada.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun, and I've got a boatload of stories to tell about that experience that I won't tell today, but maybe off camera. And then when COVID happened, the Canadians shut down the border, which really prohibited my ability to see my kids. So I had a decision to make, either family or work. So I decided to take a crack at running the business from Canada. And did that fairly well for a better part of a year, until, my business partner and cousin started selling off assets to support his habits. That happened, and which was unfortunate for me. That was going to be my retirement and whatnot, and I was really proud of what I had built, but that got taken out from under me. And all the while, focusing on my health. It's always been, even since high school, right? Even since a kid, I was always playing every kind of sport out there that I could. Yeah. But that had a tremendous effect on my body, right? From playing football and hockey and rugby, some swimming, that I also did competitively, but those things, and fighting, and jumping out of airplanes and going bungee jumping, all that stuff took a real toll on my body. I bet. So regardless of my, passion for the gym and staying healthy, I didn't know what was happening below the surface. And so what that was, considerable, or started to show itself as considerable back pain. That back pain, led to, some numbness and even some lack of continence. When that happened, my wife, took me to the hospital, and they found that my spinal cord was so severely compressed that they really wanted me to make a decision on the spot to have emergency spinal surgery, or risk paralysis. So I did that on kind of a whim. But, say they told me not to go to the gym for 6 months post-surgery. And 5 weeks in, I was in excruciating pain. 5 weeks in post-surgery. And likely because I got off the opiates after week 3, just because of what had gone on with my cousin. It was important to me that I got off that shit. And so I did, but with that came immense pain. And so by week 5 or 6 is when I got introduced to our technology. Wow. And I had it in my office, in my bedroom. And the rate of recovery that I experienced from being around that was nothing short of what I would say miraculous. Wow. Right? I went from hating my life to not being able to cope anymore, to being in the gym now at week 10. Remember, after being told not to go back for 6 months. So, and at 6 months, I was in what I would say probably the best shape of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a crazy story. And so for the audience who's listening today, when you say our technology, let's dive into that a little bit. So it's the light systems. You can find it at thelightsystems.com, but tell us a little bit about the technology, what's behind it, how does it affect you?
Yeah. So, I mean, it is wholeheartedly designed to put the body in a better position to heal itself. That's what it aims to do.
But what is it? What is it exactly?
Yeah, and I'll get to that, right? So we have a series of monitors, and the monitors are, you know, broadcasting certain things. And really there's three main functions, or what I call avenues to bring your body into a better place. And those three would be starting with polychromatic therapy, which is light therapy, more specifically the color of the light. Okay. So everybody knows what red light therapy is, right? I mean, it's all over the place. Everybody knows the benefits that it has.
Yes.
What we're learning, or what we've known for a while, but what people are starting to learn and understand is that every color brings a benefit. So even those red light panels now have different colors in them. You'll see some purples and some yellows and stuff, but you know, every color provides a benefit. Blue is great for inflammation. Yellow is great for digestion. Red, as we know, circulation. Green is good for your nervous system, and so on and so forth. So we employ every color. So you can receive the benefit of all the therapies from all the different colors.
So to break it down kind of for somebody who hasn't seen one of these, it's essentially kind of like a red light tanning bed, but with every color of the spectrum built into there, or how would you describe it?
No, it's I mean, I describe it as medicinal art, or we describe it as medicinal art because it's super cool, right?
Yep.
We have different shapes and forms. Our commercial units, you know, are made up of opposing monitors, and why that's important is, you know, avenue number 2, which is the emission of photons coming from the opposing monitors, and when those photons leave each opposing monitor, they collide right in the center, and it's that collision that creates what we call it a biophotonic collision. It creates a burst of energy, and that energy is received within your cells, create an increase in cellular voltage.
Wow.
And why that's important is because we're electrical beings.
Yep.
Right? Rest and digestion is how we, you know, maintain our charge, and that charge is fuel. Right? Just like the charge in a car, an electric car, is what we would have considered fuel in a combustible engine, right? So we need that electricity to function on a daily basis. The problem is today, more so than at any other time in history, we're exposed to so many toxins, right? Be it in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all of that creates an environment where our body now has to work harder to combat those toxins. Right. So we know that if we get sick, right, we get tired. Well, we're tired because we're draining that charge, right? Because it takes more energy to fight whatever's ailing us. So what we do and what the light system does through that biophotonic collision and increasing the energy in your body is raise you back up to a level where you're in a better position to fight whatever might ail you. Right. So that charge is being brought down. We bring it back up. Why that's super cool is because you don't need to have an ailment to use our equipment.
Interesting.
Right? So it got me through my spinal surgery. But what it does for me on a daily basis is outstanding, right? That burst of energy, I call it my flow. That's what I get from it, right? I operate at a more optimum level. I'm at a more optimum level because my body is at a more optimum level because of the charge is at a more optimum level. But my speech gets quicker, my passion gets higher, my joy for life is greater. I really love the guy I am when I'm in the technology. And that takes time, right? Like it lasts. I don't have to be in it all day. I mean, the last time I was in it was 3 days ago. Right. Because I've been traveling so much. So, it's just such a powerful thing. And the third avenue, which I think is equally as important and also extremely cool, is that we're delivering affirmations through the monitors. So affirmations, you know, once considered woo-woo, right? Now people are starting to understand that, you know, if your mind believes, your body will follow. And not everybody understands or is a type of person that's capable of, one, designing their own affirmations, and two, setting aside time to deliver or receive the affirmations from yourself. I mean, I was never the kind of guy that could sit in front of the mirror for 5 minutes at the start of every day and tell myself how great I am.
Sure.
It's not who I am. Our technology does that for you.
Wow.
Right. And what's great about it is that it's simply designed to convince your mind that everything's going to be okay. And if your mind understands that everything's going to be okay, everything will be okay.
Yeah, I totally believe that there's a lot of truth to that. It's whatever perception of reality you create for yourself is what you're going to manifest more of, right? So if you're programming yourself to think positively and you're reinforcing that with your technology, I can see how that works. How did you come up with this?
Well, I didn't. I mean, it was a gentleman by the name of Robert Religa. About 30 years ago, right around the advent of computers, personal computers, he started to get super fascinated with them and started teaching himself how to program, fell in love with computer programming, but all the while still being kind of a spiritual guy. And so he created this technology. And it's worked. It's worked for 30 years.
Wow.
What we have done at the Light System is taken that old technology and modernized it, made it a hell of a lot sexier. It looks great in your home, looks great in your office, looks great in your clinic, wherever you might employ the technology. It fits into the environment that it's in because it's really nice to look at.
That's cool. So you almost made it a piece of art.
1,000%.
And I've seen one of these, one of the conventions that we were at, and I walked by, and it's like a big pyramid. It's doing real cool stuff. So tell us a little bit about, kind of the design aspect and what you guys, why you chose those designs like pyramids. And I don't know, there's another one, a cube, I think.
Yeah. So our in-home units, we have a cube, a pyramid, and a sphere. We literally on Monday, I think, launched the Cube Mini. Which is our most affordable unit yet, which was massively successive on our launch date. Super proud of it. But the most compact, the most affordable, and the most easy to travel with unit we have. So super cool. And we chose those shapes because there's a lot of power in geometry. Our pyramid, which is what I would consider to be our flagship model, has the same geometry as the Great Pyramids in Giza.
Wow.
Right. And we know that the pyramid or the shape of the pyramid holds power. Right. So it was important to us to mimic that shape. And I'll tell you, as the code runs through the panels, it really does look cool from every angle, from top, from bottom, from side to side. It really looks nice. And it's a real showstopper when you walk into somebody's living room and you see that there, especially if you've never seen anything like that before.
I did, like I said, when I seen it, I was really impressed. It definitely catches your attention. Yeah. And so it sounds like there's a lot of people going back and forth online about, where the information backing this research and science is. I've seen a lot of people swear by this, and famous people. So tell me a little bit more about maybe some of the people that are backing this product for you.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, for me, research is key. I can sit here and talk to you all day long about how great this product is. If I can't back it up with science, and it's all bullshit. Right. So I've been working very closely. So we've done some in-house studies working with various technologies to prove, chakra alignment and energy flow and stuff like that through the body. But recently, starting in January, I've had somebody who's a Harvard PhD, Stanford PhD, and he's been spending time in our showroom just banging out research study after research study after research study. So now he's putting together all the white papers that we can show the world just how awesome this stuff is. And what he found almost immediately through our technology is through a mere 1 hour session, he realized an 80% increase in cellular voltage, which is massive.
Trackable.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And you mentioned earlier about different color lights. I was just reading a thing. There's so much information out there on the internet. You don't know what to believe. Yeah. I was seeing a thing that blue light is the enemy. So is it the way that it's digested or the way that it's consumed that makes it different, or are they different kinds of light?
Yeah. Yeah. They're completely different. The blue light that comes from your phone is you can't see that blue. Right. So it's not the blue light. It's the color blue that is providing the benefit. So it's two completely different things. When you're exposed to the color blue, you receive the benefit of the color or the polychromatic therapy. Blue light coming from your phone and from your TV is entirely different. It keeps you up at night, causes anxiety and depression and everything else. Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing. And what about people that, there's going to be cynics everywhere, and they're saying that it's just a placebo effect, that it's just people feel good about having it there. Is there any validity to their claims, or what do you think about that?
What is an affirmation? right?
You're right.
So if I receive an affirmation, and the whole purpose behind an affirmation is to make my mind believe so my body follows. In that statement, the only thing that's important is that my mind believes.
Yes.
And if a sugar pill is going to make me believe, who cares? I would rather take a sugar pill than take a round of chemotherapy.
Absolutely.
All day long.
Yeah. No, I'm with that. And so is there anything else about the product that people should know that, or do you have anything exciting coming up, or is there more breakthroughs or more opportunities for people to kind of get involved with that?
Well, I mean, we are a legitimate traveling roadshow. We hit every major city in the U.S. on a regular basis. We're in town this week for Biohackers World. We'll be at Dave Asprey's Beyond Biohacking Conference in Austin. We'll be at A4M in West Palm Beach. We're at CryoCon. We're all over the place. So, you want to experience the technology, you can, there's one of two ways. You can come see us at any one of these shows. But we also have, dozens of hundreds of centers in dozens of countries around the world. And I can assure you that we have a center, close to your home, no matter where you are, where you can go in and visit these center owners, talk to them, experience the technology. They're wonderful, brilliant people that are just as passionate about the technology as I am, just as knowledgeable or even more knowledgeable about it than I am. And they would love to see you and give you, let you see the benefits of the technology.
And so one of the things that I heard people mentioning online is that it's expensive to some people, to the average person. And I wasn't really sure about the price points. And I know you guys have different products, but are these centers, is that a way to use the technology to maybe offset some of the costs if you can't afford to have one in your home? Is that a good way to pursue that?
Any centers that are affiliated with Unified Healing have an upper threshold of a max amount that they can charge for a session. And that was done by design to make sure that, as much of humanity could experience the benefits of the technology, and that cost wouldn't be, a factor. So that cost was set at an upper limit that we felt, or not that we, I mean, I say we because I used to operate Unified Healing. I no longer do. Yeah. But that price was set in that manner to allow as many people as possible to be able to afford it.
Wow.
But again, we bring out new products all the time. Like I said, the one that we just brought out this week is by far our most affordable. We also have a whole wearable line, like jewelry, bracelets, and medallions that are all charged with our technology, that have our frequency programmed into it to promote rest and digestion. And we've even run studies with that. And again, we've seen incredible increase in cellular voltage just through wearing our jewelry or our wearables.
Wow, that's really cool. That's very interesting. And so you're hitting all these conferences, you're traveling all the time. What's it like connecting with people out in the wild out there? What's like your best story that, of somebody that's kind of come up to you at one of these shows, maybe they were a little bit cynical, maybe they weren't convinced, and then, you've seen a change right before your eyes.
So, I mean, every single person we travel with a lot of tech. And so we allow people to experience our chair. I mean, you can walk up and touch and feel everything, but we'll put people in our chair, which I believe is our most powerful unit, for 5-10 minutes. And as soon as they hit that chair and enter our system, it's an immediate, overwhelming sense of relaxation. You can see it. You're sitting in a trade show, right, with all kinds of music and chaos, and we've got people fast asleep in the chair. They wake up from that, incredible sense of relaxation, and they feel almost instantly energized. And then they go home and they have the best sleep of their life, and they come in and they tell me about it the next day during day 2 of the show.
Yeah.
But I think that to answer your question, the best story I could tell you is we were at a show that we sponsored in South Miami in January called The Transformation. And a lady came up to me. And you can see we videotaped her. We asked her if she would mind doing it on camera. So we have that interview on our website, the testimonial that came with it. But when we had met her back in probably April, she had a considerable lump right here on her throat. And when we saw her in January, that lump was gone. And she attributes all of that to the light system. She really truly believes that without the light system, that lump would still be there, or potentially bigger, or causing kind of some damage. So that was the best for me. I urge anybody to go online and take a look at it, because it's a really touching story. She's super cute. She's like, look, I have no scars. There's no scars. There's nothing. Right.
Yeah.
But the lump is gone. So really, really neat stuff.
And I do believe in the fact that, our stresses and the negativity in the world around us does manifest itself into, cells and buildups in our body and blockages. Right. And so do many people say that this light system, is that like a way to fight back against, what's happening to our bodies in the modern world?
Yeah. So again, through the increase in cellular voltage, you're putting your body, or you're giving your body the tools it needs to combat whatever ails you, be it a lump in your throat, be it brain fog, be it, ADHD, whatever it might be, right? There's a stressor that's happening that's lowering your charge. We bring that charge up, your body's in a better position to do that. But to your point about energy blockages, this is where the affirmations are important, right? Because through these affirmations, or through the frequency of the words that you're receiving from our technology, we're restructuring the water within our cells or within our body. We're made up of 70% water. So through the restructuring of that water in a positive way, we're increasing the efficiency in which the energy flows through our body. So not just increasing the energy or the electricity, but increasing the efficiency in which it flows through it.
Makes total sense. I mean, it makes scientific sense when you say it like that. And so I know you're passionate about it, but what are maybe like the top 3 benefits that your audience, or that people that have used the product have come back to you and said, what do you consistently hear being, the benefits of using the light system?
It's a point that I always have to hammer home, right? Because it really helps whatever is ailing you. So you go to these conferences and it's people sitting in our chair that have a hangover. Right? They get up and the hangover is gone. So, it's legitimately everything from this woman with the lump in his throat to somebody else's dog who had a tumor that shrunk considerably after 3 days, right? To the child with autism that can now calm himself. It doesn't matter what it is, because everything that's ailing you is driving that charge in your body down, and we lift it back up. So there's a ton of stories that we can talk for hours about, or you can go online, check out our website and read all of them. And they're fascinating.
That's really cool. And I wanted to bring up that dog story because that's actually one that caught my attention a long time ago, because again, going back to the placebo thing, a human, you can tell them and they can convince themselves something's working. But when people start putting their pets in these things and they're getting healthier pets, that kind of is a testament to the system working, right? So what happened with this dog and what was his story?
So there's two things that are happening there. Well, 3, right? Through the colors, through the light, through the increase in energy and the increase in the efficiency of energy. But the really cool thing about it is, I started by saying we're receiving affirmations. The cool thing about the affirmations that we're delivering, we actually hide the words. We can translate them to English so that you can read them, but it's not important that you actually read the words. And the reason being is because it's not the word itself is delivering the affirmation, it's the frequency of that word, right? So everything in this world carries a frequency, including words, right? So if a word was so important, then you would have to be English in order to receive the benefits of our technology. But you don't, right? And we know this not only because we have the data to prove it and the testimonials to prove it, but if you look at the studies and the research of Dr. Isario Emoto speaking to water, he, I guess I'll go over it very quickly, but he realized, or he found that if you spoke in a certain way to water, that the way that you spoke to the water would impact the structure of the water. So if you were to tell, a bowl of water how beautiful it is and flash freeze it, it would freeze in a beautiful pattern. Similarly, if you took a bowl of water and told it it was worthless or ugly, there would not be any beauty to that water or to the structure of the water. So he, through the delivery of those words, the negative and the positive words, he restructured the water, one negatively, one positively, right? And that's important because we're water.
Yeah.
So water doesn't have eyes and it doesn't have ears and it doesn't speak French or English or Spanish or Chinese or Japanese or Italian. It doesn't speak any kind of language. Yet he restructured that water. Right. And that's because the word that he was using was carrying the frequency that was able to restructure the water, the frequency of the water. And that's why it works in animals as well, That's why it works with people of any kind of ethnic background, kind of language or anything like that, because of the frequency that it carries. And frequency is a huge conversation.
Big time. It's undeniable. Yeah. No, frequency is huge. And so here's the thing. It's like, it sounds like this product cures a lot of things. And, we live in a world where we're not selling cures, we're selling Band-Aids, right? Yeah. So what are some of the challenges that you've had, being in the alternative health community? Have you had any, pushback from pharma or from like other, people that like doctors, or is it like, is it all smooth sailing for you guys as far as your message?
Well, our message is clear in that we don't make any medical claims, right? I mean, even today, I've only said that we put the body in a better position to heal itself, right? And that's what's happening. But I can tell you that whatever pill you're taking isn't healing you either, right?
Right.
Not only that, it's not putting your body in a better position to heal itself either. If anything, it's putting it in a position where it needs what we have, right? And that's something that can uplift you. And give you the right frame of mind to move through whatever's ailing.
Yeah, I love it. And so if people want to order one of these or get more information, where can people find you online?
TheLightSystems.com.
TheLightSystems.com. Guys, if you want a pyramid in your house that glows affirmations on you and puts your body in a better position to heal, check out TheLightSystems.com. Thank you to my guest, Jarrod, today. Guys, this has been another episode of Vito Glazers After Dark. We're live in West Hollywood, California. We'll see you next time.